Is this talking? Yeah, it is. Okay, cool. Hello, everybody. This is Dissonant Waves. This is Minisode. There's no controlling influence here. Ritalin is gone. It's just dominatrix again.
Yep.
I'm the dom part of that.
I'm the trick.
And this is no trick. We listened to 2.5 Janelle Monae albums for this week's episode. I say 2.5 because one's an EP, but it's all 5 parts of the same ongoing saga, the Metropolis Saga.
Yeah, two of them are basically double albums. So.
Yeah, there's 5 segments so far. I think there's a planned 7, so probably waiting for one more album.
Yeah. Unless she extends it.
She
Again,
could.
It looks like I'm noticing on the Electric Lady art, she just added a bunch of dots.
Yeah.
Or 2 dots.
I think she'll just do it if she wants to. I mean, we have Dirty Computer, and that's not part of it, but it is still a concept album and somewhat related.
Yeah.
Similar vibes, but different. And so you like Dirty Computer. So now you've listened to the rest of it.
It's all just as good.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, walk me through what you like here. Walk me through your experience.
Well, I guess I'll go in order. So starting with Metropolis, which I believe was the first EP.
Yeah, the Chase Suite.
Yep, the Chase Suite. I really enjoyed the initial world building with March of the Wolf Masters, and I liked it. I liked the sounds of like Many Moons and Cybertronic Purgatory.
Yeah,
I wasn't really paying too close attention to the lyrics this week, even though I probably really should have.
Cybertronic Purgatory is very good. It's a very easy, like, early showcase of her voice.
Yeah. Mr. President, well, first time I listened to it, I had to remember that it was recorded during the Bush years.
Yeah, this is a Bush album.
Yeah.
She did it when she was 21, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I really like just the laid back kind of it's just a 12-string in her voice with smile.
What does that mean exactly?
It's a 12-string guitar.
Oh, I thought you said a 12-stringer voice. I'm like, oh, that's new.
No, I was a 12-string and her voice.
I got you.
I realized I kind of slurred my syllables.
It might have also just been in the recording cutting out a little bit, but that's fine.
Yeah.
And that's a Charlie Chaplin song, which is interesting.
I didn't actually know that.
Yeah. Especially given the recent things people are learning about Charlie Chaplin that have always been there.
Yep.
But that's the first suite, the first part of her Metropolis Saga. So then we get into the ArchAndroid.
Yep. Which I listened to this album a couple times while I was finishing up Doom Eternal, so it kind of ran all together. But there were some songs that stuck out. Obviously, the Of Montreal.
Yes.
Collaboration.
Wasn't I right though? Their voices sounded similar.
Sounded similar, but I could tell the difference.
Yes, but she was going down to his level. He was not elevating himself to her level.
Yes. She has a impressive range.
Yes.
Mushrooms and Roses and Neon Valley stood out to me.
Interesting. Okay. What'd you think of the War of the Roses?
It was a good song. I don't really remember. I only vaguely remember it.
There's
playing Doom Eternal.
There's a very big moment in War of the Roses.
I was not paying attention to the lyrics, I'll tell you that much.
When she holds the note for literally 15 to 20 seconds.
Oh yeah, that was impressive.
Yeah. To me, that's like the highlight of the album, is just that whole thing. Yeah. Very good. Yeah. The funny thing too is that the Of Montreal song isn't Of Montreal song. Kevin Barnes wrote it.
Yeah, I could tell that.
But she's like, sure, we'll make it part of this whole thing. Why not? That's fun to me.
Yeah.
Because her features on this album are incredible. Like, I think the next album has the bigger, like, names, but I think these fit so well.
Yeah.
You got Big Boy, you got Deep Cotton, of Montreal, Saul Williams, um, but they all just kind of they mesh so well together. But yeah, so that's the ArchAndroid. There's a lot there we can go into. Then you get the Electric Lady.
Again, real enjoyable album. Um, the first half is really the only part that I remember the most. The second half,
Second half,
zoned out on.
yeah. Um, I think yeah, I kind of agree. Um, Second half I think is a little bit long, and it's very similar to each other. Which on the one hand is great because I think she's focusing more in on specific themes. Which ArchAndroid's kind of everything, so do something different, right? Make it more of a love album. But also Suite I, it has differences, but a lot of the songs are just kind of they don't stand out as much from each other.
Yeah.
Still a good album, but I do think the ArchAndroid is probably my favorite of the three.
Yeah, one thing I do want to mention is that they all have phenomenal bass lines.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure you notice all of it.
Like I'm just listening along and I'm like, oh yeah, that is some great lines. Ooh, there's some staccato parts there. Ooh, that's fun. I'm just geeking out on the bass parts.
Worth noting that the features in Metropolis the Chase Suite was the Skunks pretty much, which I'm not really familiar with. But on the Electric Lady, she's got Prince, she's got Erykah Badu, she's got Solange, she's got Miguel, she's got Esperanza Spalding. Like they are there. Like it's kind of front loaded and like Suite 4, but like name checking that alone is just impressive.
Yeah, having Prince on your album really.
I mean, the influence was there, especially on ArchAndroid. So like, I'm not surprised when it's also surprising.
Oh no, but it is always cool to have like Prince just show up on something.
Okay, so where do you want to dive in deeper?
Do you want to go over the plot for me because it kind of just went all over all my head.
To be honest, I should have looked. I should have done my research into the plot of it, but I did not. But my understanding is that there is an android named Cindi Mayweather who has fallen in love with a man named Anthony Greendown, and that is forbidden in this futuristic city where androids and humans coexist together along with other various entities. And so the chase suite is definitely like a chase sequence of just her having to evade like the dystopian government or whatever, going into hiding. And then the ArchAndroid, I think, goes more into maybe like the mythology it creates, or like she just kind of happens to be. It goes more, I think, into Anthony Greendown. It goes, I think, it introduces Mary even. But the ArchAndroid is kind of more of like a full picture of the society and the world and
the world building. Kind of background. Gotcha.
And I believe like it does like kind of like how they separate and how they come back together at the end, and then I think she leaves him in the end. Because let's see, I think 57821 with the Deep Cotton song is where they talk about how he's searching for her. It's kind of like his perspective, and then the last two songs are kind of I think they're meet up. It's the last song especially, Baya is like it is a goodbye song.
Gotcha.
Also one of my favorites. It is so classy. And then the Electric Lady is just kind of Cindi, also Janelle though, kind of going off and exploring more and getting into more romances and love tangles. There's a girl Mary who's part of it. There's a guy Joey. What's his name? Joey Vice, yes. So and then but the third album also, or the second album, third part of this, Electric Lady, also definitely goes more into like the world and like the media aspect of the world. where they have like radio interludes, and they go more into like, oh, this is Cindy's song. This is Cindi becoming like a pop star too.
Yeah.
Oh, what was that?
The Chrome Shop interlude.
There was that. There was Good Morning Midnight. There was Our Favorite Fugitive, which I liked all those a lot.
Yeah.
Like having those interlude skit things that don't always work, but these felt so natural that like they felt like a real radio thing.
Yeah.
And like they were all,
which is impressive.
yeah, they are all set in that world.
One of the albums I've been meaning to do for a little while, Tenacious D album. They always do interludes on theirs.
Right.
And, they don't always fit, but they're hilarious. And I will say that these work a lot better than the Tenacious.
Right. It's like the Electric Lady is kind of like almost like a playlist that you would probably hear on the radio.
Yeah.
And it's like it's interesting because like I think these three things are kind of also the evolution of Janelle Monae as like a public figure, kind of coming into herself as well. ArchAndroid came out when she was 24, which again, like amazing. And then Electric Lady when she was about 27, 28. So definitely finding her path, but also like embracing more of her queer identity and like talking more, like kind of going beyond just like the metaphor of like androids and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which brings you to Dirty Computer, which is her, and that all is kind of in the background now, not really related to this, but where she gets real personal. I mean, this is almost there, but like Dirty Computer is like where it goes next. But oh man, that is. Granted, I don't know everything, but that is kind of the arc, from what I understand.
Gotcha.
But okay, let's go back, as we got the Chase suite. As you said, March of the Wolf Masters is an interesting opening because it is just a announcement, right?
Yeah.
It's just kind of setting up the plot of like Cindi Mayweather's falling in love with Anthony Green down, and they're gonna take her down. The government, they're gonna kill her or something. Electro daggers were involved in that. Phasers, I think. Yes, chainsaws and electro daggers. So they want to just take her down.
Yeah.
And then so Violet starts Happy Hunting, which is a great fucking song, is like the initial escape sequence from wherever she is and like the people helping her. And it's a really great just like beginning to the music that she brings. Looking at the Skunks now, they're from the 70s.
Oh wow.
They're a Texas band.
I didn't look into the Skunks at all.
I have not either, but yeah, they have like, yeah, all their releases are from like the 80s, the 2000s, a little bit, like mostly like the 80s ish. That's cool. Glad she kind of like got them in there. But then you get Many Moons, which is interesting. Cybertronic Purgatory, which is a really like a auto-tune operatic thing almost. Like I couldn't tell if it was auto-tuned or not, but
there's probably a little bit of auto-tune over all of these albums because it's pop standard.
Also, it kind of fits the theme of being like a sci-fi android thing. And then Sincerely Jane is kind of like the whole wrap up. It's like it's pretty short. It's like a decent like proof of concept. And it's very much like this is Janelle Monae. This is who she is. This is what she does.
Yeah.
Which brings us then to Mr. President and Smile, which I think Smile is probably like a good like an excuse to be like, oh, this is just something she's singing in world. It's all vaguely kind of sci-fi on the fringes, so you know, it kind of fits. But then Mr. President is kind of, to me, it sticks out a bit. And that it is just a song.
Yeah.
It's a decent song. I like it, but it is just like a song that any like R&B pop singer could do.
Yeah, it is.
So I'm curious, like what, because the Mr. President and Smile were on the like other editions of the album, not the initial release, right?
Yeah, the extended play.
Yeah, and so I'm curious what, like, was that something she kind of wrote beforehand? Like, what was the deal with that exactly? Like, just really like it and thought it fit somehow because it is just a direct attack on Bush, which is interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. It could be something she wrote before. It could even just be in world a song she wrote that
Maybe.
is kind of just like a tongue in cheek thing. Like, yeah, this is actually about Bush.
Okay, that's possible. Worth noting, kind of like how wasn't it 50 Cent that discovered Justin Bieber
I don't.
or like helped him? Um, look that up real quick.
While
Big
you're doing that,
Sean.
I'm on the Wikipedia page for Metropolis, and she plays Hammond organ on the album
Janelle
on the
does.
first one. Yeah.
I'm not surprised. She's talented. I'm sure she can do anything.
Yeah, it's I didn't hear I can normally hear a Hammond organ, but I just wasn't paying attention.
I think it was Usher that helped sign Justin Bieber. That's what it was.
That sounds right.
Right. So Justin Bieber got Usher on his side. Janelle Monae got Big Boy of Outkast.
Yeah.
And so I think she might have won.
Yeah.
Because like Outkast was one of those bands that was huge when I was a kid. Never really understood how huge they were until much, much later. Because it's like I remember like they were like I was in like in elementary school they were talking about like oh that the Outcast song Mrs. Robinson or something that's supposed to be about Rosa Parks or something like that. And I'm like, why are they looking at Outkast to give political commentary? I don't get it. And it's like now of course I do. But yeah, I don't know.
I do also want to mention in the Justin Bieber versus Janelle Monae thing we kind of just came up with. Janelle Monae has definitely won because Justin Bieber just looks like a meth addict.
Yeah, and Janelle Monae is classy as ever. Like
Yeah.
I don't even know like her whole like tuxedo thing, which was her standard for like the longest time, was really cool and really classy.
Yeah,
She's
and
since kind of embraced a lot of things.
it surprised me how short she was because I went to like Google her for just like Janelle Monae height popped up and I'm like, oh yeah, sure.
Uh
She's
huh.
only 5 feet tall.
Really, I did
Yeah,
not know that.
she kind of her personality shows is like I am not 5 feet tall.
Yeah, but that's cool though. I dig
Yeah,
that. That's fine. Um. Okay. Let's see. I do remember reading about how, oh, like, I mean, a lot of her music too was about kind of like growing up in Kansas City and like about her parents. It's mentioned in I think Mr. President, maybe Sincerely Jane. I know definitely Get a Woman because she dedicates that directly to her mom. Um, but yeah, it's because like Kansas City is not exactly the place you would expect. You know, someone as wonderful as Janelle Monae to pop up. Like it's kind of one of those things where she kind of puts them on the map, right?
yeah,
Like Prince kind of created the Minneapolis sound, so here's Janelle Monae with the Kansas City kind of like sound, I guess.
yeah,
Uh, and there's a story about how because we looked into her debut, kind of like her demo thing, right? The audition
yeah.
a little bit. We didn't listen to it, but
No,
because there's the one single that's out there, "Letting Go."
yeah. It looked like it was an intro to something.
Yeah,
Video
and
or something.
I think that was like I guess that's what got the attention of like Big Boy and like kind of the music world. And there's a story about how she was working at like Office Depot at the time, and then she was also trying to like keep up with her fans, and she got fired for using company computer for that. So she turned out okay, I think.
Yeah,
Also, she was on the Outkast album Idlewild, which is interesting to think about going back.
yeah.
That's very much a time and place. I feel like. Do they actually? Yeah, they do actually have her on there. She's with Killer Mike on one track. That's cool. But yeah. So then Metropolis, the Chase Suite comes out. The whole Metropolis thing, I should say, is like inspired by the Fritz Lang movie, which is a silent era classic German expressionism about it's the future. It's everything's mechanized and the workers are downtrodden, and the son of like the head of the company or whatever goes down to the people and sees how oppressed they are, and basically is like, this is not right. We need to do something about this. And there's this woman, Maria, who like is trying to cheer up the workers and get them to have faith in something. And then the head of the company learns about this and gets all upset, and so he makes an android that looks just like Maria to cause a riot so that he can go and crack down on them and like exert his rule even more. Which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but that's how the movie goes. And I mean, and like this doesn't totally matter, but I think it just takes like this whole album series just kind of takes like the ideas and some of the concepts behind it, and just like the general style. Interestingly, there's also an anime movie called Metropolis, which kind of does the same thing, just takes themes and ideas and just makes it its own thing. It's also very good as well. Everything that has Metropolis in the name is very good. I don't know. What do you think about the whole Android like stuff as like kind of metaphor for human and like metaphor for human differences without really going into actual human differences?
It works. I mean, it's been a staple in sci-fi for a while. I mean, Isaac Asimov wrote a book about fucking robots, but that might have just been him wanting to fuck robots.
That's true. But I do appreciate that she kind of moved beyond that.
Yeah.
I do want her to finish, just to get it done. But like,
yeah, you don't want it to end up like the stuff Jan Stevens or Sufjan, however you pronounce it. I'm bad at names. With the only two states.
Like a little bit here and there of other states, but then just being like, actually, fuck everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, then we get the ArchAndroid, which is like her official album debut, and like where everyone starts like helping her out and popping up everywhere. And I think, oh man, the whole classical element in like the whole orchestral thing, ArchAndroid specifically, is something I really really dig.
Yeah.
Like you get the overtures now. You get the Suite II overture. You get Suite III overture. They're just overtures. They just give you a preview of the music to come. It's just things you find in musicals, which are not supposed to be anything really. They're just kind of there to help set the mood, but they are just so good.
Yeah.
And then ArchAndroid is an album in like a capital A sense, in that it flows, song to song. Let's see, you talked about Mushrooms and Roses. What did you like about that one that stood out to you?
Just kind of like the vibe and the whole music, and like the whole kind of composition of it.
It's like it's like the thing too about this is that all the songs are very different.
Yeah.
The Mushrooms and Roses is kind of like a very laid back, kind of like heavenly almost thing. Like Mushrooms and Roses, from what I gather, is like kind of like a club of sorts. And so she goes to the club, and I believe she meets Mary there, who is later in the Electric Lady. But yeah, that's where that whole plot starts, I think. I'm gonna look up the lyrics real quick. I don't know, talk about something. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. I don't know. Trying to fill air.
No dead air. I guess I'll just talk about random shit while you look at the lyrics. I haven't really eaten a full meal in 24 hours.
Sorry,
it's
question.
Not something I'm trying. Kind of like I haven't eaten.
I'm on the Genius page for Mushrooms and Roses, and yeah, she talks about Blueberry Mary, and she's crazy about me. She's wild, man. She's wild. She gives the boys all her kisses and electricity, till I come in her dreams. The golden door of their emotions opens wide. Here they fall into her love and never have to hide. So, it might just be they're two different Marys because the Mary in Electric Lady is directly a love interest. Maybe it starts here. I don't know. Yeah. So yeah, Mary is in Electric Lady. Looking at the annotations now. So kind of
those annotations on Genius are fun, just as like a weird aside.
Yeah, they definitely are. It's interesting though because it's like the whole Mary thing is kind of also like an admission of being queer in a sense on the Electric Lady. That she kind of goes to that point of talking about having an attraction to women and like, am I a freak because I love watching Mary, like the way she wear her tights and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But she kind of buries it in this song where the lyrics are sometimes hard to understand because they're sung in such a modulated way, very like laid back and relaxed.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. Like almost like she's kind of hiding it, but kind of not.
You're kind of messing around with the idea.
Yeah. I looked at another annotation and they have a picture and it is definitely not Mary.
Okay, I'm checking this out. Hold
up. The picture is of Cosmos from the video game Saga, which is very, very different. But also, okay, I guess it's a general thing, but the annotation does make a note though to say it could be Cindi singing, it could be Anthony Greendown singing. I would assume it's Cindi, but who knows? Yeah. But I think Suite II might be the best one of all of them. But Suite 3 is also very good. I don't know. Suite 3 is very short comparatively to Suite 2, but like also just full of bangers. Like as we talked about, Make the Bus is an Montreal Song. 57821 is a folk song. But Papaya is just like a fucking big band orchestral. Like this album has me convinced that I really want her to do a Bond theme at some point.
Yeah, I could really see that working out.
I think she deserves it. Like Billie Eilish is cool. Adele has been great. I know. Sam Smith, another queer icon, great. But Janelle Monae though, she'd do amazing.
Oh yeah.
Like especially if she was acting in it, because like she's a big actor now too. She's been fucking Moonlight, Hidden Figures. She's got it made. So like, fucking have her do the song, be the love interest, just be in the movie. I think it would bring so much. I am like talking so much. I know. I'm like kind of taking the reins here.
It's fine. You're kind of the Janelle Monae expert of the group.
Yeah, relatively. Like I don't know. To me, it's like some people got really into Beyonce. Some people got really into like I don't know someone else. But I really got into Janelle Monae, so I've just always been a huge fan of hers. Well, not always. I didn't know her when I was a child, but when I heard of her in like the early 2010s is when I became a huge fan. But
yeah, understandable. It's really good stuff.
Yeah, because like there's no one else really doing something like this.
No.
There's no other really huge pop star making like sci-fi concept albums that are all tied together, that are all very much about androids and zombies and like stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think it's very cool. It's a very unique idea, and it's like the production is impeccable.
Oh, definitely. There no flubs on it. It's all big, huge budget pop stuff that really works.
And like, it's like I think Wonderland Art Society is her own label, but she's released through Atlantic. She's Bad Boy Records. Like she kind of jumped out the gate in a sense after a few years of kind of working her way up.
Yeah.
Um, Cold War is another really great song. I should have given you the music videos. If you, I don't know if you would have had time to watch them, but there's so many music videos. I do think
I'll give them a watch sometime down the.
like Cold War has a really nice music video that's just her singing the song, but it's all in like one take, and it's all kind of like her going through like a lot of different emotions doing the song. Very interesting. Not a lot of the music videos actually go into the whole Cindi Mayweather plot. A lot of them are kind of like removed from it, but also referencing it, but not directly showing anything.
Gotcha.
And eventually they do show a bit, and like I think the Electric Lady stuff, but like they're different. But that's fine.
Yeah.
ArchAndroid and Electric Lady also kind of have those big radio-friendly pop songs too. You got Tightrope, you got Dance Apocalyptic. They're just kind of like fun, catchy songs, which
Yeah, and those are necessary on a pop album and on any album. I really think like if you have a radio hit, a lot of people joke that the radio hit is selling out, but there's no shame in a radio hit.
no, like, but that's like a small part of the album too. Like it's just like,
oh yeah,
like Tightrope was featured in like Just Dance 3. It's like the kind. It's the. It was in Happy Feet too. It was the song that has like the crossover, right?
yeah.
And it's like you bring people in with that, and maybe you give them a couple other songs that they jive with. Like again, Come Alive, War of the Roses is incredible for her like ability to do like a rock song and have the big vocals at the end, right? And so you kind of bring people in with that, and then they stay for the Of Montreal, they stay for the folk 57821 stuff. Yeah, it's all it's crafted very well. The whole thing is just top to bottom, like very thought through and just very like this is her shot and she shot it and she made it.
Definitely.
And I cannot again like emphasize how much difference there is in like this album. Like the thing that makes ArchAndroid so special to me is that like no song really repeats anything.
Yeah, there is no filler on the album really.
No, and even if you call it filler, it still has a purpose.
Yeah.
Like they're all like all the genres are different pretty much. Like yeah, some of them are kind of like more one thing or another, but the distinction between them is still there.
It's what you were talking about with the whole like Jelly of the Month Club thing.
Yeah,
How you want more artists to just kind of do what they want and not be bound by one genre.
yeah, and this is a great example. Like
Yeah.
it still feels cohesive too. Is the thing. It all feels wrapped
Yeah.
up in this Metropolis Saga perfectly.
Definitely.
And that's partially because they call back to Cindi Mayweather. They call back to Anthony Green Down. And there's a song Sir Green Down, for example, that's kind of nice that I like. He talks about Neon Valley Street in like Violet Star's Happy Hunting. There's and then Neon Valley Street the song. So there's a huge like flow through.
Definitely.
And then we get to the was that
I was just gonna say it's all interesting and well written stuff.
right. And then we get to the Electric Lady, where the ArchAndroid, as I said, is kind of like this huge thing. Our Electric Lady is also huge. It is longer, I think, but it is more focused on like love and kind of Cindi and like finding, I don't know, love and people. It is shorter actually, a little bit shorter, but I do think this is where it loses a little bit for me. I do think the ArchAndroid is better just because there's so much focus on love and relationship stuff. And like if you break them down, they are different. It might be the love languages. It might be how she can't live without your love. It might be a breakup song. It might be an argument song. But Suite V in particular is so focused on love that it's like I feel like you could cut some of the songs and it would work better.
Yeah.
Like she has a lot of songs that are there that are important. Like Ghetto Woman is very good. She has songs that are attributed to like Sally Ride, Dorothy Dandridge, but like I don't know, like Victory or like, I don't know, maybe Can't Live Without Your Love. Hard to say. Because they're both songs that I like. But there's just something about that section that's just so, I don't know. Like Suite 4 starts out super strong. Because you got the Prince song, Give 'Em What They Love, and then Queen, which is incredible.
Yeah, Queen was great.
The Queen stands for Queer, Untouchables, Immigrants, Excommunicated, and Negroid. So kind of definitely going for the whole like outcast minorities, come to me, kind of like using like slang, like oh, like they're throwing shade left to right. Oh, she's served face. Then she goes into the am I a freak because I love watching Mary. Also kind of like going to like religion. Like will your God accept me in my black and white, which maybe goes back to the whole tuxedo thing, which is like a whole kind of like gender representation kind of I don't know play with that, kind of doing her own thing, right? And so it definitely dives a lot more into that, which is. But trade off though is that there's more focus on that, and some of it I think gets a little lost.
Yeah.
The fun thing too, like not apropos of nothing, is that between ArchAndroid and Electric Lady, Janelle Monae also had her biggest hit that was not on either one. Can you guess what it is?
No.
Do you know of a band called Fun?
Oh yeah, I only know like 2 of their songs, but
One of the songs is called "We Are Young."
yes,
She features on that,
I did not know that.
and that song won the Grammy for Record of the Year. So like, not even her song, and they got a Grammy.
Yeah,
That's like,
it's always cool.
and that's like the thing is like she's doing all this stuff, and everything else she's doing outside of this is getting like, it is like the best stuff, right? She's got "We Are Young" Grammy. I'm not a big fan of this song. Grammy of the Year anyway. Moonlight Best Picture. Got like I don't know. Hidden Figures did really well. She is firing on all cylinders. Like it is almost a crime that her albums are not more well known.
Yeah, like I hadn't heard of her until you brought her up on the podcast.
And that is just like zonkers. Like she is so talented. She is so like she is starting to be everywhere, but it's hard to even still like I go to like the record store to like I bought her CD recently. I bought Dirty Computer, and people who I used to work with when I worked there, they're like, "Oh, I only know of her because you brought her up before," or "Oh, I don't know her," depending on who I was talking to. I was like, man, like where are the people?
Yeah, she definitely needs something like a Bond theme to skyrocket her.
It's like she had that though. She had a Record of the Year. She was in some of the biggest movies of the decade. That's like, but it's like despite all the success, her main project is still not there.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Like see, she was in Rio 2. She was in the Lady and the Tramp Disney Plus movie. You know, she is starting to go places.
Yeah.
Like I remember her being on the cover of Time or something, I think, just being super impressed. She was on Saturday Night Live and stuff like that, but I just. Oh, she has a role in Hero. She's on Heroes of the Storm. Interesting. But yeah, there's still that disconnect between she is so talented, she does so much work, but
It's kind of the opposite of a Donald Glover sort of deal.
yeah.
And like no disrespect to Donald Glover, but
I don't know what you mean though. Explain it.
He's not quite on the level of
No.
Just from what I've listened to and
Yeah.
known him for. Like to me, he'll always be Troy from Community.
There. Oh, he did. She did perform Goldfinger at the White House.
Wow.
I guess that was a television special. Women of Soul.
That's cool.
I'll have to find that. I'm sure it's very good.
Yeah.
But yes, Electric Lady also very good, but I think ArchAndroid is just a bit better.
I'll give you that. Yeah.
I don't know. What you have anything else you want to say about this stuff? I'm just not just me talking 90% of the time.
I really enjoyed both albums in the EP. They will go into my rotation.
Yeah.
I did not listen to them as much as I really should have. But yeah.
I do like that she got the lesser known but still popular Noel's sister. Because Solange is Beyonce's sister. I don't know if you knew that.
I did not. I'm not up on my pop music, if I'm going to be honest.
That's fine. But you know who Beyonce is.
Yeah, I know who Beyonce is, obviously.
Yes. But Solange is also there, and she's also very talented. She's not Beyonce, but
nobody is Beyonce, let's face it.
Right.
Beyonce.
But she has her own very successful, very good solo career. And yeah. Here she is on Electric Lady. She with Prince, with Erykah Badu. No Beyonce in sight, but that's neither here nor there. Like, who did Dirty Computer have features? We can compare
Brian Wilson.
Brian Wilson, Zoe Kravitz, Grimes, Pharrell Williams. So still very successful, very well-known people for the most part. Zoe Kravitz being an actress and also Lenny Kravitz's daughter. Grimes being the wife of Elon Musk.
And I mean Brian Wilson being the original Beach Boy.
Yeah, being the man behind Smile.
Pat Sounds. Yep.
Smile, Pat Sounds. Like the ones that they make the movies about.
Yeah.
Was it Lovin' something? Very good movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Love and Mercy.
Yes.
It's very good. I'm a huge fan of Janelle Monae. I'm almost sorry we didn't go back to her sooner, but I think you brought it up. You're like, doing the Metropolis stuff would be way better in a Minisode. It's all connected, whereas Dirty Computer was a great intro because it is just segmented by itself.
Yeah.
It's a lot to listen to because, like I said, this is about 50 songs.
Yeah, it's 2 double albums.
Electric Lady has 19. ArchAndroid has 18. So that's about 7. Metropolis has 7, including the 2 extras, so 45 songs. Which is like a complete episode for us.
Definitely. We've had episodes with less songs.
Yes. We've also had episodes that went longer, but
yeah.
Yeah. I really hope whatever she does next, it is the thing that puts her over the top, because
definitely
she is great.
Well, I was watching I got one of the ads for the iPhone 12, whatever number it is now.
Yeah.
And the album that Chris Rock downloads is Dirty Computer.
That's good. Glad they're doing that.
I'm just like, oh hey, featuring Brian Wilson. Oh hey, that's Dirty Computer.
Yeah, I'm glad.
It doesn't say outright that it's Janelle Monae, but it shows the track listing, and I'm like, oh hey, I recognize that.
I wonder if somebody paid for that, or if that's just what Chris Rock wanted to do. Either way, that's good. Good thing.
Yeah.
There's still one more EP that we can do that she's involved with, at least. So we're not totally done with her, but unfortunately, we are 90% done, which kind of sucks, but also is both indicative of how talented she is, but also she should release more hopefully at some point.
Yeah.
I don't know. if you had to guess, do you think she'll complete the saga next, or will she do something else? Another kind of just personal album.
I think she'll do something else and then come back to the saga.
Because I'm curious,
I had to
like,
guess.
if she waits that long, like, because it's already been 2 years since Dirty Computer, 2.5 now. Like, that maybe she'll do something in 2021, 2022, roughly. So then, you know, you think about 3, 4, 5 years after that, or in like the late 2020s, what would it be like? You know?
Yeah.
Will she have to bring in like Billie Eilish and all that? Will she get Beyonce in there? What? I don't know. You got anything else you really want to say?
Albums are good.
Yes. If you had to rank them, what would you rank them?
Electric Lady at the bottom, because again, Suite V just kind of ran together. The Chase Suite, Metropolis II, and ArchAndroid top.
I'd probably do the same thing. Not that Electric Lady is bad. It just
no, Electric Lady is great, but it's just the other two are better.
Like, I mean, I should say, where, you know, Electric Lady does have some differences, and like it does do hip hop, it does soul, it does funk, gospel, reggae, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it does different stuff. But I think the ArchAndroid just made such an impression because the things it was doing were so disparate that it was easy to tell. Like, just so hard to miss.
Definitely.
Yeah. But it's, you know, it's her sophomore album technically, so there's that sophomore slump thing they always talk about. Maybe that's just kind of what this is part of.
Which, I mean, we did cover an artist that never had a sophomore slump, if you ask me.
Seatley?
The fact that, Callum thinks that that's their best album.
I mean, No Hitter is great. First one's better, but No Hitter is great.
Yeah,
I mean,
one is their best album.
I think I would say Rattler would be Lorenzo's Electric Lady.
Yeah, and not that Rattler is a bad album. It's a great album.
But it, like, something about it is not as great as the others. To me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it is about Rattler exactly. I don't know if like the songs just didn't hit me the same way. If I just, because I listened to it first, I have a different opinion about it. Not the same thing as Electric Lady, where I can actually I can tell what the difference is. But
yeah,
especially because I think Suite 4 in particular had so many good songs. Like, even the love songs were very, very good.
Yeah.
Like, Prime Time is a great, like, slow jam. We Were Rock and Roll is a really nice, nostalgic, kind of sweet, sad song. Look Into My Eyes is, again, that kind of that classy, like, almost like a 60s influence vibe going on. That, again, very Bond, very Dr. No. Would love to see her doing that.
Yeah.
And again, gotta shout out the whole Chrome Shop interlude stuff for just like doing contests, doing like whenever the DJ takes calls, it is very good because the calls all sound very natural and also very much like what you would hear on the radio.
Yeah.
Because you got kind of like the crazies, you got the people who are very serious about what they're calling about. You got the people who are like who don't get it, you know, who are just like, why don't they just do whatever it is they do to her? She's not a person. And the DJ's like, no, she is in fact not a person. She is an android, and she's hot. She's banging, you know.
Yeah.
Like that's what makes her special and cool. And this world where there are androids and clones and everything else, which is part of what makes her her. She still has a personality. Yeah, all this is worth listening to. The only song I think that does not fit with the rest is Mr. President.
Yeah. It's definitely the oddball. It's a good song, but it does not fit at all.
Like Smile, I'll even say fits, even though it is not even her song.
Yeah.
The production is there because that's the thing. It's like as I was taking my notes, it's like all these songs, they are done in a way that Janelle makes special. No one else can do them like that. Mr. President, I could see her giving to somebody and they're doing just as good of a job in almost the same way.
Definitely.
All right, I'm about done there. Anything else?
I don't really have much else to talk about. If this,
I hope.
I'm about 3/4 of a bottle of wine in right now. So.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I do hope Callum listens to these.
Yeah, they're good albums. I know he didn't quite like Dirty Computer, but
as much as we did.
There's stuff to like here.
Yeah, it's not as personal. Maybe that'll shake him up a little bit. Because there's so much to marvel at. Fucking Come Alive again. The fucking what is it? 15-20 second note hole is very impressive. Especially because she goes through all her octaves with it. Like,
definitely
ends it in like a cat scream of sorts. Like she has great breath control and knows how to do that stuff. Or it could be edited together, but I would hope it's just a natural thing she can do.
That seems natural. It's real difficult to line that stuff up.
Yeah.
Like there was a Weird Al did a theme for a parody of James Bond movie. I forget which one it was, but he holds a note for something like 40 seconds or something like that.
Wow.
And it's just him doing it normally.
P. Diddy, also a producer on Electric Lady. Yeah, Deep Cotton helped produce the whole album, which is cool.
Yeah.
Any other special names? Any mention? Quick. I do think Make the Bus, the Of Montreal song, is one of the best Of Montreal songs, especially of that era.
Yeah.
Which is my favorite era. It's Janelle Monae happened to get Kevin to give her one of the best songs he's done.
Yeah.
And their duet again, it's so you would never think that they could have some kind of similarity together, voices.
Yeah, that is one of those things where you do not expect them to work well together, but it really works well. I'm trying to think of some weird food combination.
Whenever we do False Priest, where Janelle Monae features on the Of Montreal album, we really should note how different they are.
All right.
And she's on a few songs there, but she's used very differently. And I would wonder what you think of that. We'll have to do the special edition for reasons we'll get into whenever we do that album.
All right.
But if that is everything, then let's talk about what we're doing next week.
We're doing Alice Glass.
Yes, we promised it a couple weeks ago. We're now finally fulfilling our promise. This is an episode I've wanted to do for literally over a year. We're doing Alice Glass's EP and all of her solo work while we wait for her debut solo album whenever it comes.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Alice Glass EP, assorted singles. They're just on Spotify. I'll send you the playlist. You can just listen to them however you listen to them once you have the names.
All right.
There's a new one. Like I said, Nightmares and Sleep It Off, which was on the Turning soundtrack, which are new to 2020. There's Stillbirth, which is their first single. I arranged them all in chronological order. Cease and Desist, Mine, I Trusted You, all kind of in the middle era, before and after her EP. So we're looking at about a dozen songs. Kind of a nice come down after this extravaganza of sorts.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anything you want to plug or say or whatever?
Not particularly.
Also worth noting that we're recording this early in the morning, 2 a.m., but it's the day after Joe Biden won the election.
Yes, which is why I'm drinking in celebration.
Yay. I should think of having some rum. I should have some rum. But maybe. Anyway, if you want to hear more Dissonant Waves, we're on YouTube. You probably listened to us on YouTube already, but we do have a YouTube channel if you want to subscribe and share and all that stuff. We're also Was that?
Helps the algorithm.
Yeah, to help the algorithm actually give us some, attention. We kind of just do this for fun, but it is nice to have people listen to it when they do.
Yeah.
We are on Twitter at Dissonant Waves. We have a website, dissonantwaves.space. I am Dominic. You can catch me on Twitter at DACICHOCKI. I also write stuff for Tilting Windmill Studios sometimes. I also have several other projects in the works that you may or may not hear about at some point. I do have an EP on Bandcamp that we have created because of this podcast, so this podcast does a lot of wild things that are beneficial and sometimes make us do a lot of work in a short amount of time.
Yeah, that's the fun of it. Get us out of our comfort.
Yeah.
I've been Tricks. You can catch me on Twitter at procrastinaut_. That's like procrastinating astronaut. I also have a YouTube channel where just this week I uploaded a video all about an oddball bass from the 80s.
All right. Well, I think that's gonna be it for us then. Have a great night, morning, everybody. Morning, night. Biden Harris 2020 is real.
Yeah.
Bye.